The Burj Khalifa skyscraper in Dubai is allegedly not connected to a wastewater treatment plant via a sewer line, but rather the sewage is hauled away using trucks, according to a number of stories and videos on the internet. You might be astonished to learn that while being a spectacle in every other manner, the tallest building in the world does not address this pressing problem. Watch the remainder of the video to learn how the Emirati icon controls the building's wastewaters. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this one. The way Dubai was constructed must be considered in order to comprehend why the Burj Khalifa lacks a drainage infrastructure. In an effort to entice travelers and companies to the nation, the government funded each and every one of Dubai's wonders. In order to attract new investments, Dubai has a policy of having very low taxes. In fact, there's no sales or income tax. Instead, they've gradually managed to develop other sources of income. However, like most governments, Dubai's leaders must take loans when it comes to starting new projects. And this is exactly what they did when they began work on the Burj Khalifa, a project that had a staggering price tag of $1.5 billion. Now, this isn't the only expense the nation has. They also increased the Emirati fleet, erected hotels, and spent a lot of money on advertising, which caused Dubai to rack up a significant amount of debt. At the moment, it stands at $80 billion, or approximately 77% of their GDP. Now, when you compare this statistic to other developed nations like the United States or Japan, it doesn't appear to be as awful. But Dubai's problem is that it lacks a reliable source of income. Its revenue is entirely reliant on investments in tourism. The 77 GDP to debt ratio is significantly more variable than in any other wealthy nations as a result. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, ruler of Dubai, was adamant about not using income tax to generate revenue, as it would further decrease Dubai's popularity and would reduce the investments pouring into the country. Additionally, the country was severely affected by the 2008 credit crisis and had to take out a loan of $20 billion from the Bank of Abu Dhabi. Dubai was in serious need of financing. Due to the fact that the building would bring Dubai back into the spotlight, the government set out to finish the Burj Khalifa. Since the government needed to finish the project as soon as possible, it chose against installing a sewage system, because it would be more expensive and less profitable. This is not to say that Dubai doesn't have a sewage system. In fact, the city has one, but the extra waste produced by this enormous skyscraper could not have been handled by the current sewage system. As a result, the building was not connected to the city's sewer system. But where does all that waste from people go? It can't just vanish, can it? Let's see. You leave the table after a filling meal at the restaurant atop the tallest building in the world in Dubai, go to the restroom, and flush the toilet without giving it a second thought. What occurs to the waste? Anyone would assume the world's highest skyscraper would have an equally exceptional sewage system, given that it takes extremely sophisticated engineering and technology to reach its heights. Unfortunately, that's not the case, because as we already explained, it's not connected to a municipal wastewater treatment system. In other words, when you defecate in the Burj Khalifa, the waste gets trucked out of the city. We're shocked at how ineffective a system like this is for moving a wastewater to a treatment facility outside of town. Keep in mind that if you visit and use the restroom at the Burj Khalifa, someone will need to collect and carry your waste out of Dubai, because one of the world's most advanced skyscrapers uses an absolutely archaic system. In an interview with Terry Gross of NPR in November, author of The Heights Anatomy of a Skyscraper, Kate Asher, talked about what happens to the sewage from the Burj Khalifa and other towering buildings in Dubai. There are numerous tall structures, many of which are not connected to a regional sewage system. Despite having permission from the Municipal Planning Authority, work appears to have outpaced installation of this vital feature of any multi-story building. Although there is some sort of system in place, it's unable to handle the output from an 828-meter tower. If the waste is flushed from the top floor, what exactly happens to the waste? For starters, trash cans shoot down pipes at 122 miles per hour, which is faster than the global average speed of most mainline trains. The crucial point to keep in mind is that the feces travels at its terminal velocity very similarly to a skydiver. So theoretically, after about 5 stories, you can go as high as you like. However, because it does bounce back up at the bottom, drainage must be built to stop this. The principal vertical pipe carrying the load at the bottom of the stack, or the primary vertical pipe, must be at a specific angle to reduce waste bounce back from pipes flowing down multiple stories of buildings. This enables waste to flow horizontally down a drain where the flow drops in a process known as a hydraulic leap. The trash can then flow around a bend. The lowest two toilets must, however, be on their own stack in structures with more than 20 stories because otherwise, horrible things can happen. Due to bounce back, flushing a toilet at the top of the building without this second system will result in something very unpleasant pouring quickly and forcefully out of the ground level facilities. The position of pipes leading from toilets into the main stack, the initial speed and volume of liquid flowing, and other factors all affect this. Anyway, your number 1 and 2 then descend 160 stories at the higher rate of gravity, which is broken by a clever series of pipe bends that cause the waste to go more slowly. They're soundproof, by the way, because nobody wants to spend the day listening to the traveling trash. Anywhere else, before reaching the municipal wastewater treatment facility, the sewage would pass via a septic system. It might even go via a system of filters in greener structures before being used for further toilet flushing or landscaping. But this is not the case at the Burj Khalifa. A few unfortunate people, or more often dozens, load the waste into trucks. The Burj is not at full occupancy, so let's lower that figure. Let's reduce it to 8 tons, a very cautious figure. Experts say that at full occupancy, that might be equal to a good 13 tons of human feces every day. That's still a lot, you must admit. But there's one more aspect to take into consideration. There's additional wastewater produced by showering, brushing your teeth, and other activities, totaling 13 tons of garbage to manage. Those unfortunate people had to drive this foul garbage to a wastewater treatment plant where they regularly have to stand in line for up to 24 hours to dump their foul truckload, since the Burj Khalifa was built in such a hurry that no one thought about where the excrement would go. Such a system's amazing inefficiency raises the question of whether architecture is more than just the art of building beautiful structures. A building's impact on and interactions with the surrounding area of the city must also be considered by architects. Building the tallest building in the world is great, but if you can't get the trash out without spending a fortune, your project has failed. We hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to be kept informed of all of our upcoming content. See you all next time.